Champions is a player versus player fantasy game where you have the opportunity to win up to 100 times in one night by beating out the pack. And you do it real simple. Real simple. Higher or lower. It's all you got to do. There's a statistical projection. You either go higher or you go lower. You add up your picks and you count your cash. It can be as simple as coin flip, higher or lower, or you can use all the resources they have on a terrific app. I got on the app this week, played around with it, learned it inside and out. Yeah, so my contests haven't gone so great yet, but hey, that's why there's more season. So, discover what Underdog Champions is all about and go right now to your app store and download the Underdog Fantasy app today. Use promo code PROSSER and you'll get your player special plus a deposit offer. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code PROSSER.
If you're a business owner and want to learn about federal, state, or local government contracts, plan to attend a free online webinar May 28th. The Florida Apex Accelerator, in partnership with UNF, provides expert guidance and consultations at no cost. The Apex Accelerator program can make selling to the government less complicated. Attend a free coffee and contracting webinar May 28th. Register at unf.edu/SBDC. Then select Training and Event tab.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, let's talk hardball. This is River City Hardball, presented by D-Bat Jacksonville. Here's your host, Andrew Gibson.
Good Sunday morning, Jacksonville. It is River City Hardball, presented by D-Bat Jacksonville. I'm your host, Andrew Gibson. And what an outstanding pleasure it is to welcome in a couple of guys that are going to the Final Four this week in Fort Myers. The Trinity Christian Conquerors are on their way to the 3A Final Four in Fort Myers. They will play on Tuesday afternoon at 1 o'clock against Westminster Christian. And joining us right now live in studio, a couple of players from the Conquerors, both 2025s, both juniors. Aiden Arnett is an outfielder. He's committed to the University of Florida. Aaron Watson is a pitcher. He's also committed to the University of Virginia, and the head coach is John Murphy, who joins us. Coach, thanks for jumping in with the studio for us today. How are you?
Doing well. Really appreciate you having us. Excited for you to hear from these guys a little bit.
The first time since 2019 that Trinity has made the Final Four. This is your first trip as a head coach. What does this feel like?
Unbelievably exciting. You know, we've worked so hard for this all year. These guys are so deserving. They put in that work every day. So as a coach, to get to see them kind of fulfill that vision that they had is just really cool to be a part of.
Aaron and Aiden Arnett as well with us. I'm going to start with you, Aiden. You're committed to the University of Florida. You guys have had an incredible year. Step up there to the mic for us and tell us about what the season's been like for you.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Just all the work we put in over the last couple months, and then just coming up to this. This is an amazing opportunity, and we can't wait to go down there to Fort Myers and compete down there.
Aiden, tell me about what this experience has been like with your teammates, because this has been a kind of a magical season for you guys, and now going to the Final Four. I mean, describe what this year has been like for you guys.
Mm-hmm. We all have a great bond together where we have really good chemistry as a team, and this has brought us closer. We're just really excited to get down there to Fort Myers and show everyone what we're about.
Aaron Watson is committed to the University of Virginia. Aaron, I was told, and I want to confirm this with you right in the studio right now, you hit 95 in the regional final against Bishop Snyder. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
95, dude. That is good stuff. And that's the first time that you've hit 95?
Yes, sir.
And you're a junior in high school.
Correct.
That's pretty amazing. What was that game like? Because Coach said that you guys sold 750 tickets to that Bishop Snyder game a few days ago. Tell me that experience. What was that environment like?
Yeah, it was a crazy atmosphere. You know, we go out there, we're down early, but, you know, we come back, and going out in the seventh inning, it was crazy. Came out with runners on, but I look at the crowd. There's just probably 1,000 people there, if we're being honest. But It was crazy going out there. The blood was pumping. But I went out there with full confidence. The team had confidence in me, and we came in and we shut it down.
When you threw that 95-mile-per-hour pitch, was that just like adrenaline going through your body? What was that moment like for you?
Yeah, it was probably a mix of adrenaline and, just going out there and had something to prove.
Yep.
Coming off a rough outing back on Saturday, but I just went out there and the team had full confidence in me, and I wanted to get their back for getting mine.
And that's pretty cool that you guys and Bishop Snyder, two Jacksonville schools, a shot to go to the Final Four, and you guys were able to pull it out. You guys faced Aiden King that night, who's been outstanding. He's on his way to Florida as well as you are, Aiden. And that team's loaded with guys. It's not just Aiden. Bishop Snyder's got a lot of good players. Aaron, for you first, tell me what the matchup was like for you guys going up against Aiden and Snyder. What was it like for you?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Going into the game, we knew we were going to get Aiden. He's a really good arm, honestly, one of the best in the state. But we prepared well, and we came out swinging the bat really good, and it was just a lot of fun. The atmosphere was great. It's a good team going against a really good team, and it's hard to beat a team twice. I know we beat them a few weeks ago, but going out there and beating a good team twice is really hard to do.
Aaron Watson, Aiden Arnett, John Murphy from Trinity Christian joining us right now on River City Hardball, presented by DBAT Jacksonville. Aiden, I want to go back to you before we get Coach back in just a moment, but you faced Aiden King. We got two guys, Aiden Arnett, Aiden King, a lot of Aidens. But how did you do against him?
Yes, sir. Yeah, he had great stuff. It was tough. He was throwing 94.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, it was a really good battle. It was fun. I think I went 1 for 3. I hit a ball up the middle off of him, brought in 2 runs, and then hit a soft ground ball and scored RBI in that. And then, but yeah, he's definitely one of the best pitchers I've faced probably in my whole baseball career for sure.
And he's going to be a teammate of yours too at Florida. What's that going to be like?
Yes, sir. Well, I'm happy he's on our side over there. Yep.
Coach, I want to go back real quick to the Bishop Snyder game because that was such a cool opportunity. 2 Jacksonville schools, a shot at the Final Four. We're going to get to the Final Four in Westminster Christian in just a moment. But for you, that experience, I mean, you sold 750 tickets that night at Trinity. You had more people get in kind of around the tickets, getting in without paying, I guess. But what was that experience like for you? Because that had to be cool.
Yeah, I think it's just a testament to Jacksonville baseball. You saw the amount of talent that was on the field that Snyder was able to bring over. You got 2 schools that are basically about 10 minutes from each other, and just to see the amount of talent on the field is really a testament to Jacksonville baseball, and what we've been able to create here in this city is just really cool and just fun to get to be a part of it and have all those people that are invested and interested in what's going on in Jacksonville baseball. It was just cool to play a small role in it.
How was the environment at your place that night?
So in high school baseball, I'll be honest with you, the crowd rarely has much of an effect. It's normally, moms, dads, a couple girlfriends show up maybe. It was, you actually could feel the energy from the crowd. That was really cool to be a part of. It was one of the few times in my coaching career, especially on the high school side, where the crowd actually played an impact. I mean, when Aaron came in the game, it's 1st and 2nd, no outs, 7th inning, we're up 2, and you could feel the tension and the energy from the crowd. I think, honestly, he fed off of it a little bit and rose to the occasion right there, which was really cool to see.
Trinity Christian on their way to the Final Four. They're going to leave tomorrow morning, 9:30, as they go down to Fort Myers to face Westminster Christian in the 3A Final Four. What was your approach to Aiden King? How did you and your coaching staff approach facing an arm like him?
Yeah, absolutely. The thing with Aiden, he throws so many strikes. He does such a good job of being in the strike zone. So we told the boys, you ain't going to walk your way out of this game. It's not going to be how it works. You're going to have to swing the bat. If we're going to have a shot at him, we're going to try to be aggressive. His fastball has a ton of ride. So we're trying to get to the top of the heater, see the breaking ball up in the zone. Even with that, I think he still got 6 punch-outs in 3 innings. I mean, he did a phenomenal job. We were fortunate to have a couple of breaks go our way here and there, and a couple of big swings, especially from Aiden Arnett. Driving in those 2 runs made a huge difference.
Your opponent on Tuesday afternoon at 1 o'clock down there at Hammond Stadium in Fort Myers, where the Minnesota Twins play their spring training. Westminster Christian, what can you tell us about them?
Yeah, obviously once you get to this point, everybody's got dudes. They got a guy on the mound. I think it's going to be 92, 95, which we're thankful we just got to see Aiden, so it'll be kind of similar type arm as far as us hopefully being prepared for that. They've got 4 or 5 other Division I hitters in the lineup, so it's going to be quite the challenge for us. I'm excited to see how the boys step up to the occasion.
This will be your first opportunity as a head coach at Trinity, coaching a team that's in the Final Four. Describe that feeling.
Like Aiden touched on, just this group, they have such a great bond. And so to get to see them put in that work and then all of this kind of come to fruition, it's just, man, it's really humbling as a coach. And just, I'm so thankful for the opportunity because I love getting to watch them compete. And so I get to watch them compete, hopefully, for a couple more games.
If you guys are able to win this game on Tuesday, you would play for the state championship in 3A. I know you're not thinking too far ahead. You're focused on what's going to happen Tuesday. But when would you play if you won Tuesday?
Yeah, the Wednesday game's scheduled for 2 p.m. right now down there at Hammond.
Okay, sounds good. And before we wrap things up, guys, I want to ask you about your college commitments. Both of you guys right now in the studio are committed to Division I programs and really good ones, I might add. Florida and Virginia are two very good schools, both academically and athletically. Aiden, I want to start with you first. Tell me about your decision and your process with committing to Florida.
So I started my recruitment process a little younger than most people. I was in 8th grade when I got my offer from the University of Florida, and I just got a great bond with Coach Chuck and Sully over there, and I just thought it was the best fit for me. I went and saw the facilities. The facilities are awesome, and it's not too far from home from Jacksonville. So, yeah, I just thought it was the best fit for me, and I just knew from that young age that that's where I wanted to go.
Have you grown up as a Florida fan? Were you a fan of anybody else, or did you kind of gravitate toward the Gators?
So I'm actually from Wisconsin.
Okay.
So I grew up a Badgers fan, and obviously they don't have a baseball team. So we moved down here when I was in 2nd grade. So and then I started watching the Gators when I was younger, and I knew that's where I wanted to go.
It's really cold in Wisconsin, so are you glad that you're in Florida now?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So Aiden Arnett is on his way. He's a junior at Trinity, so you get him one more year, Coach. So that's great stuff. He's on his way to the University of Florida, a 2025 outfielder. What are some of the – do you have on at the top of your head like some of the numbers you've put up this year, Aiden?
Honestly, don't try to look at like any of the stats until the end of the season. Our goal as a team has kind of just been process-oriented and not really outcome-oriented.
What about you, Coach? Has he put up some good numbers for you?
Yes, he has. I'm pretty sure he's leading the team in RBIs. I think he's hitting right around 390. Got a couple homers, about 7-8 doubles as well. I think he's up near the top in runs and RBIs for the team this year.
Aiden Arnett, a 2025 that is on his way to the University of Florida. We also have Aaron Watson, who's a pitcher who is on his way to the University of Virginia. Aaron, tell me about your commitment and why Charlottesville for you.
Of course, yeah. So unlike Aiden, I started my recruitment process a little later, but I went up there the first weekend of September, and it was everything you could ask for. Picked up by the head coach, went to the facilities, and as soon as I landed there, I honestly knew it was kind of home, going from one ville to another.
Mm-hmm.
And then Coach O'Connor, Coach Drew, Coach Kirby, they're just all like family. After the first 5 minutes with them, it felt like I knew where I wanted to be. And you look at the program's history, national champions, hosting regionals almost every year. It's a great place to be, and not only that, but academically as well. It's just a great school overall, and I kind of knew that's where I wanted to be ever since I first went up there.
When you hit 95 the other night against Bishop Snyder, did you get any messages from your coaches and be like, "That's my guy"? Anything like that?
Yeah, of course. I sent them a picture of it. They honestly didn't believe it at first, but I had to convince them a little bit. But no, it was really cool to hit that and share my experience with them.
Well, and you've got both from the Florida side and the Virginia side, Jacksonville guys that have come through there. I mean, there's a long list of guys that you could name that have come through there. Are you excited about possibly playing with some Jacksonville guys at the next level?
Yes, sir, of course. Brad Hodges, he's a familiar name, and Patrick Mink, they're both from here. They're both really good players, really good pitchers. I met them when I was up there, and I've talked to them a little bit since then, and they've honestly become really good friends, and hopefully I'm teammates with one of them one day.
Aiden, Florida obviously has a pipeline to Jacksonville. There's a bunch of guys. We could just go through all morning and talk about the guys from Jacksonville that have played for the Gators. Aiden King is another guy that we mentioned. How excited are you to possibly play and definitely play at the next level with some Jacksonville guys?
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'm super excited.
Coach, final thought before we let you go. What is your message to Trinity Christian and your team as you guys headed into this Final Four?
Yeah, absolutely. We've had two goals all year. Own the moment, which is basically the pitch. Be where your feet are. So get to the next pitch, win that pitch, and the next one is look for opportunities to love and serve your teammates every day. That hasn't changed, whether we're in Fort Myers or we're over on the west side of Jacksonville. We're looking for opportunities to own the moment that we're in and love and serve the people around us.
Your brother is Daniel Murphy. When you guys were growing up, you guys were both called Murph. How did that work in your house?
So I got dubbed Little Murph. My mother did call me by the name that she gave me, Jonathan, so that helped. But out in public, I got to be Little Murph for the majority of my life so far.
Now, you go by John, though, right?
I do. You can thank my wife for that. So she decided that we would go with John instead of Jonathan, which I've been called a lot worse, so I'll take it.
You guys leave tomorrow morning, 9:30, correct?
Yes, heading out tomorrow morning.
They're going to Fort Myers in the 3A Final Four at Trinity Christian Academy. They'll play Westminster Christian. Where are they from? Are they from St. Petersburg?
Yeah, I think they're like Fort Lauderdale
Okay.
area down there. And so, yeah, we'll be lining up with them on Tuesday.
Got to represent the 904 in Jacksonville. Hope you guys can bring another ring back to the 904. Hey, thanks so much for coming into the studio this morning, and good luck to you guys.
Yeah, really appreciate you having us.
John Murphy, Aaron Watson, Aiden Arnett, all from Trinity Christian Academy. They're playing in the 3A Final Four on Tuesday at 1 o'clock against Westminster Academy. We wish the best to those guys, and hopefully they can bring home a state championship to Jacksonville. When we come back, we got a conversation with another team and a head coach and also a player that's on their way to the 2A Final Four. Coming up next, head coach of St. John's Country Day, Tom Lucas, and also one of their players as well, George Gilson, who put them in the Final Four with a home run, a walk-off the other night against North Florida Christian. That conversation comes up next on River City Hardball, presented by DBAT Jacksonville.
From the edge of your radio to the edge of your seat. Showtime! Feel the excitement of live play-by-play.
And this place is rocking right now.
On 1010XL.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, an avocado consultant from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Dave Ortega. Okay, Dave, here's your question. Your house is not bad in the morning, but by the afternoon, your AC can barely keep up, even with the curtains closed. What do you do?
Can I buy a valve?
Not that kind of show, Dave.
Can I spin the wheel?
Yeah, we don't even have a wheel, Dave.
Can I phone a friend? Can I call Bueller?
That's right, Dave. Call Bueller Air and Plumbing to assess your home's airflow and sunlight patterns and let us optimize your air conditioning so that you are cool.
This is the happiest day of my life.
Well, you gotta get out more, Dave.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Attention golfing fans, Leon Searcy here. The Smoking Aces of Jacksonville are presenting my celebrity golf tournament at Queens Harbor Golf and Country Club June 14th. Tee time is at 9 a.m. Along with myself, we've got celebrity NFL, NBA, and former boxing champions who will be in attendance. Go to SmokingAcesJacksonville.com to register or become a sponsor. SmokingAcesJacksonville.com. The big fella will be there.
I know you want maximum equity from your home, but you're not quite sure how when it comes time to sell it. I'll tell you how. I'll give you two hows, Chad and Sandy. More on that in a second. It's a tougher market now. It means it's crucial to hire the right agents to sell your home to maximize price, and we have been telling you now for years, and why I'm recommending Chad and Sandy Newman at chadandsandy.com. They've got the plan and experience to sell your home fast for maximum cash. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. There are no long-term contracts. You can cancel at any time, but most importantly, Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Take Mary in Panther Creek. My dream was to move from my Panther Creek home into a new Del Webb Sweetwater home closer to my family. Chad and Sandy made it happen. They sold my own home in just 14 days, plus they helped me get into my new dream home at the same time. Call the Jacksonville experts I trust and recommend. Call Chad and Sandy at 414-6200, 904-414-6200, or chadandsandy.com.
Celebrate Kubota Orange Days and have lunch with the ladies of Helmets and Heels at Coastal Equipment New Kings Road this Wednesday, noon to 2 p.m. Enjoy free lunch, register to win a Frio Kubota cooler, and check out equipment demos from Kubota and Land Pride.
Hey, Hicken here for Zero Res. Like many of you, I love living in Jacksonville, where we have so many families who serve or have served in the military. I'm so grateful for their sacrifice to keep us safe. If you have a family member who is on active duty or is a veteran, now is the time to call Zero Res, because right now you get a 25% military discount on everything they clean. A thank you for your service. That's 25% off carpet cleaning, tile and grout upholstery, or Oriental rugs. Zero Res, man, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
The 2024 season schedule is here, and so are single-game tickets. Don't miss your favorite matchups, and be at the bank when the Jaguars take on the biggest names in the NFL.
To the end zone, touchdown!
Don't miss a moment of the action during our exciting 30th season, and grab your single-game tickets today. Lock in seats for your favorite matchup now by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville, River City Hardball. Presented by D-Bat Jacksonville on 1010XL.
Welcome back to the show. Thanks so much to John Murphy, Aiden Arnett, Aaron Watson from Trinity Christian Academy. Really cool to have those guys in the studio here this morning. They're on their way to Fort Myers tomorrow morning at 9:30. They'll play Tuesday in the 3A Final Four against Westminster Christian. And also, before we get started on the next couple of guests that we have, they're on their way to the 2A Final Four. St. John's Country Day head coach Tom Lucas, George Gilson as well. I want to tell you guys about something really cool real fast. We've got a chance for you to win a pair of tickets to any Jumbo Shrimp game this season at home. All you have to do is text the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures and tell me why you want these tickets. We've got a pair of tickets to any home game this season for the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Instead of taking a random caller, what I like to do is ask our listeners, give me the reason that you want to go to the Jumbo Shrimp game. And if you're the winner, if we select your text on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, you will be the winner and you'll be on your way to go see a Jumbo Shrimp home game this year with a pair of tickets. So 641-1010, text us and tell us why you want to go to the Jumbo Shrimp game. And if you're the winner, we'll draw your name at the end of the show. And coming up right now, we had earlier this week a conversation with Tom Lucas, the head coach of St. John's Country Day, and George Gilson, who hit a home run, a walk-off, to send St. John's Country Day to the Final Four. Well, the St. John's Country Day Spartans are on their way to Fort Myers once again. This is now 3 of the last 4 years that they've gone to the Final Four, and what a pleasure it is to welcome in the head coach of the Spartans, Tom Lucas. George Gilson joins us as well. George, you just had a big walk-off the other night to put your team in the Final Four. First of all, how did that feel, and what was that experience like for you hitting that walk-off bomb?
It felt amazing. I mean, I was super ecstatic for myself, but I was also ecstatic to see how excited my teammates were running on the field and seeing them jump up and down, even seeing the coaches excited. I mean, that's a big moment for the team to head back to the Final Four, especially against a good team like NFC, and it was just an awesome moment to experience.
George, what was the pitch? What did you see out there? Did you certainly – Well, the St. John's Country Day Spartans are on their way to four. First of all, how did that feel, and what was that experience like for you hitting that walk-off bomb?
It felt amazing. I mean, I was super ecstatic for myself, but I was also ecstatic to see how excited my teammates were running on the field and seeing them jump up and down, even seeing the coaches excited. I mean, that's a big moment for the team to head back to the Final Four, especially against a good team like NFC, and it was just an awesome moment to experience.
George, what was the pitch? What did you see out there? Did you certainly got what you wanted there. Tell me about the pitch.
I mean, it was a fastball. He just left it right there. I mean, he struggled, just walked Colt. Colt worked a good at bat before, so I think he was just trying to get a strike in there so he didn't walk me again to have first and second no outs, and then threw it right there and just let the barrel hit it.
Your celebration afterwards, I mean, you knew you had that one, right? You knew you got that one.
As soon as it came off the bat, I saw it go up, and I was like, yeah, that's gone.
Coach, what about you? Well, when you saw it, you knew it was gone too, right?
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. I mean, we're known for not having the biggest park in the area, and the wind was blowing out 20 miles an hour. But his ball probably gets out of the Jumbo Shrimp Stadium. I mean, it's one of the farthest balls we've had hit at our park.
What was that moment like for you, Coach? One of your guys, a senior, hits a walk-off homer to send you to the Final Four.
Yeah, I mean, just the whole inning, because we were tied going to the seventh, and they hit a home run to start the seventh inning. So, they came to play, and so we're down, and they had hit 5 home runs in the game. They had 6 hits, and they had hit 5 home runs, and we had hit 0. And so I kind of looked to the coaching staff, and I said, man, we've got 1, 2, 3 coming up. That was my thought process, is get one guy on base, and one of these guys, we're bound. And so I think I went to almost every guy individually and just told them, relax, breathe, see the ball up, and hit it hard. And that was kind of the message, is, not to chase. We had kind of given in a few times, but just happy for the guys. I mean, when he hit that, I think that's probably the most excited I've been as a coach. Me and one of my assistant coaches, they got pictures of us, and we're we're doing like the ring around the rosy together and stuff like that as they're rounding the bases. So you're really happy, because I've been on the other end where you get some seniors that work really hard, and then they get the disappointment of not winning that game and going to the Final Four. And so you're just happy as a head coach. You're almost like that father figure, is to see those seniors achieve that goal that they set, so long ago.
And that's a big statement from you, a 10th-year head coach. You've been in the Final Four. This is now 3 of the last 4 years. To say that that's the most excited you've been as a coach. Expound on that, because that's a big statement there.
Yeah, because we were really challenged. A lot of these times, when we've won, we've had big leads. We've been up comfortably, things like that. And this wasn't that type of game. They scored 2 in the first, and then we answered with 4, and then they turned around and answered with 2 in the second. And it was just one of those slugfests back and forth. And I think I have that team that, they kept saying it. Like, when they would come off the field, is we like to be punched. Let's punch back. And it's, are they going to respond? Because the NFC was not going away. They threw a punch in the 7th, and a lot of teams at that point will press, and it's just not our night. And just ecstatic for the guys to be able to win it, and then to do it in a walk-off fashion. That's, I've said it probably 2 or 3 times to George, like, to play your last home game at Spartan Field, hit a walk-off 2-run bomb, to send your team to the Final Four. He'll remember that for the rest of his life. And I haven't added this, I'll remember it for the rest of my life as well.
I've thought that all week, and I didn't even hit the home run.
Right.
It's pretty crazy. George, if you had to put into words, maybe one word, how would you describe that feeling, that moment of hitting that walk-off home run?
Exciting. Going in the inning, you're down 5-6, and I'm sitting at first base after Colt gives up the home run, and I go up to him on the mound after he gives it up. I'm like, well, now you get to go up and you get to do it again, because you got 1, 2, 3, Kyle, Colt, and me. And the inning before, Kyle was telling me, he's like, we got the top of the lineup, and there's no pressure here, nothing to scare us about. We've been tested. We've gone 11 and 14 innings this year at our ballpark, and that's the second time Kyle's gone up there and first pitch hit a home run to tie the game back up. And then I tell Colt, just relax when he's up to the plate, and just like see the pitch, and then he works a walk. On some competitive pitches too. He had really great takes. Probably ball down, ball away on some of the pitches, especially the really good curve on the pitcher, and then go up there and then do it for the team. It was extremely exciting to see.
George, what is this group of seniors like? You just mentioned a couple of guys there, Kyle and Colt. What is this group of seniors like at St. John's?
I've been with Kyle, Colt. I've been with pretty much all the seniors for my whole life playing baseball under Coach Tom. So, we're extremely close. And, I'd say we're a great group. I think we have some really good leaders. Great chemistry all together. And then our goal this year is just to let the kids under us see, like, us as role models, and try to follow us in our footsteps, and try to become better people through baseball and just in life.
Coach, before we get to the Final Four on Monday, tell me about this group of seniors, and obviously George is part of that group. It seems like a special group that you have there.
Yeah, I would describe, they have got a lot of grit, and so they're a very tough-minded team. Sometimes they push me to my limits as a coach, because they have some strong will, but they are not afraid of a fight. And that's the part of it that you kind of enjoy as a coach. And sometimes you get those teams and they're loaded with the ultra talented players, but they only play well when it goes well. These guys seem to respond. We have been trailing in the last 3 games in the first inning. Everybody has come out and taken a lead on us. And we've kind of embraced that. Like we said it at one of the games we went to, is we really want our opponent to land that punch. We don't want them just to kneel down in the corner. We want to be punched and then take it from them. And they've embraced that. Is they have responded every time the other team has landed a jab. We try to throw a haymaker of our own to put them down.
You guys are leaving Sunday from Jacksonville area to Fort Myers for the Final Four. This is your 3rd in the last 4 years. Northside Christian on Monday morning at 10 o'clock. What do you know about them?
Very good team. When you get to the Final Four, everybody's going to be good. This team has been tested. They beat IMG Academy. So they have seen some really good teams. They played another one of the Final Four teams that's going to be down there. So they're well balanced. They've got a really fantastic pitcher on the mound that's an Auburn commit. That's a high velo guy. When you get to this level, the team that plays the closest to normal and plays well is going to win. And that's what I tell them is I don't need you to be Superman. I just need you to play as close to what is normal for you. And I like my chances. I mean, I think lineup wise, we've got probably one of the most intimidating lineups in high school baseball. We just need to play a clean game, not a perfect game. We just need to play our normal type of game. And I like our chances.
George, as a player, how do you get ready for the Final Four? Do you go and, hey, let's see if this guy's got a perfect game page, and maybe look at some of his numbers? How do you prepare for a Final Four as a player?
You just got to go watch some of his film, see his pitches, like see his tendencies and like what pitches he likes to throw and what counts, like where his misses are and stuff like that. But I mean, majority it's just looking at his film and making sure that you understand how he's going to want to pitch certain hitters, like power hitters or guys who are more contact, or lefties and righties, and see what pitches he favors and what counts, or on what days, depending on how on he is or not.
Coach, I mean, this trip has been pretty familiar to you guys, now making the third time in the last 4 years. What have you learned about these experiences? Obviously, you're looking for that first title still, but these last couple of years, what have you learned from these experiences?
There's a lot to do, and it happens pretty fast. So all the logistics and things like that, and then media requests, and the scouting and trying to get your team ready. So there's a lot of that. But what I've really learned is to try to just keep the guys loose, as they understand where they're going, what they're playing for is that. But it's all these guys have been in big games, and this is just another big game, and it's not going to define their lives and things like that. So really just trying to keep them loose. Let's have fun. So we've really just kind of been locked in. I mean, we haven't changed anything as far as what we do. We're just prepping for our opponent, and just trying to keep the guys. This is just our normal routine as much as possible.
Final moment here with St. John's Country Day head coach Tom Lucas. George Gilson hit a walk-off bomb against North Florida Christian this week to put St. John's in the Final Four. George, this trip that you guys are about to take, you and your teammates, how jacked up are you guys to head down to Fort Myers?
I mean, we're ecstatic. I mean, to be able to keep practicing to the end of the season as much as you can, and to finally go back to another Final Four appearance, I mean, it's awesome. I mean, you're going to go play at an extremely big stadium and, in big moments, but we also got to realize that it's just another baseball game. It's just, we're playing with our friends and our brothers that we've, grown up and played with. So like, we can't get too excited over it. Like, we got to stay like pretty calm, cool, and collected, but we're all ecstatic, but we're all just calm and just realizing it's just another baseball game.
Coach, what does it mean to you to represent the Jacksonville area in the Final Four? It's going to be you guys. Trinity Christian's going to be down there in 3A, but for St. John's Country Day out of Orange Park, what does it mean for you guys to represent the Jacksonville area in this Final Four?
Quite a bit. I grew up when I played high school baseball here, run one of the travel programs that is made up probably 99% of mostly Northeast Florida kids. And firmly am a believer that some of the best talent, the best baseball is played in Northeast Florida. So it's a tremendous honor. We know when we go down there, we're going to have a lot of, eyes on us, and we're representing the 904. That's something we talk about, leaving a legacy, going down there. We're going to be playing a team that's pretty much playing a home game in their backyard. But it's a tremendous honor to represent the Jacksonville area.
What about for you, George? What does it mean to represent your hometown area down there in Fort Myers?
I mean, it's awesome. There's never been a state title in Clay County, so we want to be the first school to do that. I mean, that'd be awesome to be able to achieve that goal of being that first team to win a state title in Clay County, because, I mean, that would never be forgotten, being the number one team to ever do that. So, I mean, it's awesome to be able to represent Clay County and Jacksonville area.
George Gilson, Tom Lucas from St. John's Country Day. They play on Monday morning. Coach, what do you think about that? The early start for you guys, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, we talked about that. I've stressed to them that I want them to start getting up every day at 7 o'clock, because that's what time we're going to get up on Monday. Yeah. We're going to practice on Saturday early at the same time of what the game would, when we take pregame down there. But it's the advantage as the 1 seed, you get to play the first game. That way you can stay and watch the 2 and the 3 if you happen to win. So that's why they give you the 10, so you can stay and watch the 1 o'clock game if you're lucky enough to win that first one. And maybe we beat the heat. I mean, Fort Myers this time of year is known for being really, really hot. So we're hoping maybe we can get in and get out before it gets crazy hot.
Hey, all the best to you guys. Really hope you can go get one. Really pulling for you, fired up for you. Congratulations on the year that you've had and continued success down there in Fort Myers, Coach. And George, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Gibby. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Really appreciate the time earlier this week with the St. John's Country Day crew. They're on their way. They're coming. They're going to play tomorrow. They're down there in Fort Myers now, and they're going to play tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock in the Final Four against Northside Christian. So we wish St. John's Country Day and Trinity Christian all the best in the Final Four. A quick reminder that Trinity is going to play on Tuesday at 1 o'clock in Fort Myers against Westminster Christian, and then St. John's Country Day, as you just heard, are going to play tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock against Northside Christian in the 2A Final Four. Trinity is playing in the 3A Final Four. We've got a timeout in the show. When we come back, we got a conversation with Joe Mercadante and Tony Roca from the UNF Ospreys. Their season ended yesterday. I wanted to give you that conversation because Tony Roca out of Ponte Vedra just broke the UNF Division I strikeout record. I want to bring that conversation to you. Coming up next, you're listening to River City Hardball on 1010XL.
Everyone agrees that playing quarterback is the hardest thing to do in sports, yet it's the one thing that everyone says they could do.
Denny Thompson is the Quarterback Whisperer. Friday mornings on The Drill. Brought to you by Tyson Sound and Security and George Moore Chevrolet.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hayes Carlyon from MyBookie. The NBA playoffs are heating up, and it's the perfect time to elevate your game with MyBookie. With MyBookie, you can bet from anywhere, anytime, so you never miss a shot to cash in on a play. You can even live stream and bet on the games right from the sportsbook, giving you everything you'll need to decide, cash out or let it ride. MyBookie really makes it easy to get paid with tons of boosted props and slam dunk parlays, and new boosts are now posted on the daily. It's more than just a sports book. Buzzer beaters, underdog upsets, and a community to share in all of the sweats. Give yourself a head start today and play with house money using promo code 1010XL when you make your first deposit. That's promo code 1010XL to claim a limited time bonus when you sign up and make your first deposit. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
Find your why in your next career move at the First Coast YMCA. Everyone can get involved and make a difference in your community at the Y. And if you'd like to turn your passion into a fulfilling career, the Y is an equal opportunity employer and is now hiring youth program leaders, lifeguards, swim instructors, and more. Plus, Y staff enjoy benefits including free YMCA membership and free childcare while you work. Find your passion, find your why in a career at fcymca.org.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Mayday, mayday, mayday.
Come in, Linda. Over.
We've got a sea of new vehicles and they're priced so low they're rocking the boat. Come check out our biggest selection of inventory with the best prices and our wow-ya experience that will ensure smooth sailing for your next car purchase. Plus, take advantage of our peace of mind warranties, transparent pricing, and free oil changes with every purchase. You better beat the surge and head to Beaver Toyota St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville for the best car buying experience.
Some people call it X. What? Some still call it Twitter.
Okay, I got it.
Whatever you call it, it's the best place for up-to-the-minute Jags coverage from 1010XL.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hayes Carlyon for QC Kinetics. This is the absolute worst time of the year to be dealing with joint pain. You can't do all the outdoor stuff you love to do, hiking, jogging, biking, playing on the beach. Don't go through summer missing out on life. Call QC Kinetics now and find out how they can use biologics from your own body to give new life to your achy joints. You gotta call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 904-274-5522, serving the Jacksonville area with locations in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra Beach. Again, this is the future of medicine. Tens of thousands of QC Kinetics patients around the country are living their best life this year because they made the call. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation. Revolutionary treatments for joint pain are here. Again, Mandarin and Ponte Vedra Beach. Call QC Kinetics now, 904-274-5522. That's QC Kinetics.
It's the perfect day. You're just driving along, listening to your favorite music, the windows down. There's a cool breeze. Life is good. But wait, hold on a second. You're not wearing a seatbelt? You'd better put that on before that... Uh-oh, too late. Cops everywhere are stepping up enforcement, so you'd better buckle up or you will get caught. Sorry to ruin your day. Click it or ticket.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville, River City Hardball. Presented by D-Bat Jacksonville on 1010XL.
Welcome back to the program. This is River City Hardball. I'm your host, Andrew Gibson. We are presented by D-Bat Jacksonville, and what a pleasure it was to have St. John's Country Day head coach Tom Lucas and George Gilson, who hit that walk-off home run in the regional finals to put St. John's in the Final Four on Monday. They're going to play tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock in the 2A Final Four down there in Fort Myers against Northside Christian. Trinity Christian will play on Tuesday at 1 o'clock against Westminster Christian, so we wish the Jacksonville area all the best in the Final Four this week. Coming up right now, I wanted to bring you a conversation with UNF head coach Joe Mercadante and Tony Roca, left-hander from Ponte Vedra. Tony just broke the UNF Division I strikeout record yesterday and this weekend for the Ospreys, and had an opportunity to speak with head coach Joe Mercadante earlier this year about the season that Roca has given the Ospreys.
I mean, you can't say enough good things about what Tony's meant to us and what he's done for us this year on the mound. Here's a guy that didn't come off the best year last year, has a whole new coaching staff, a whole new, culture that we're trying to build, and didn't really know what he was getting into coming into his last season. And he's done nothing but work, put his head down, get himself better each and every day. He's been out there try to bring the young guys along with him, show them what it looks like to work hard. And as a coach, it's always just a really cool thing when you see somebody commit themselves and devote themselves to just the daily grind of getting a little bit better each day. And Tony has done that since we started in the fall. And, he's not one of those guys that rests on his accomplishments. He gets back at it. After the game on Sunday, he's back in there on Monday morning getting after it again. So it's really cool to see a guy do things the right way and get rewarded for it.
Tony, Coach just talked about your work ethic and how hard you work. Coach Tom Stanton, your coach at Ponte Vedra, told me the same thing when I texted him earlier tonight. He said Tony works so hard and he's so competitive. Where does that come from? Where does that work ethic and that competitiveness come from for you, Tony?
It kind of just started when I was younger. I was playing so much baseball and stuff, and I would look at other major leaguers and guys, the way they worked in the off season and stuff. And I was actually just talking to one of my teammates today about the Nolan Ryan book that I read when I was younger, and I saw like how much in depth he went into, and I was just like, wow, this is great. And it kind of gave me some inspiration and stuff. And but it really fell back on seeing other guys and watching TV and stuff, the MLB and stuff, and watching guys work and stuff, and see spring training, all that stuff like that. And, it just gave me a drive, and that's what I've been doing for the past pretty much 4 years and stuff, 4 or 5 years in college baseball, working hard.
Tony, as a left-handed pitcher, is there anybody, whether it be college, major league level, anybody over the course of your career that you've modeled your game after?
Not specifically anyone. Just whenever I get a chance, I'm always watching baseball. Like after this, I'll try to see if there's an MLB game on either MLB Network or just scroll through the channels. And then if not, I'll just go on ESPN Plus and see if I can find something on there. But I really just like to watch pitchers and stuff and watch the way they work. And, it's baseball is fun. So, I mean, try to keep it fun, but also try to stay focused on the goals of trying to go further and do well for the Sprays.
Tony Roca, Joe Mercadante from the University of North Florida here with us on River City Hardball, presented by D-Bat Jacks. Coach Mercadante, does Tony remind you of anybody that you've seen over your career, that you've coached? Anybody come to mind when you look at what Tony does for you?
You know, it's tough because you don't see too many left-handers with the profile of Tony, just because a lot of those times you got a guy that's got a really good changeup. Well, Tony has a split, or the fastball's got some arm side run. Well, his has a little ride. So there's not a great comp, but he's just that bulldog that, regardless of the situation, he's kind of unflappable. He's going to give you everything he's got. And Tony's just Tony. I've known Tony for so long and seen him grow up. I've, coached him when he was younger, coached against him when I was at Stetson, and now having the opportunity to be his head coach. I just see Tony as Tony, and I'm really thankful each and every day he's pitching for me now.
Coach, you actually had an opportunity to coach Tony when he was a young guy, 13 years old, for the Central Florida Gators. Coach, first with you, what do you remember about Tony back then?
Well, it's funny you talk about the work ethic. I think one of the most things that pops into my head, my most vivid memory is Tony pitching a game when he was 13 or whatever age he was, and my man gets done on the mound, and I look in the dugout, and next thing I look up, and he's running poles in between games. He's got to get his running in after he threw. And and Tony, what was it? Chocolate milk Dad always wanted you to drink too after your workouts?
Yeah, it was always chocolate milk. That was the big thing.
See? Yeah, he had it already then. It was ingrained in him. It started with his father, and it's one of those things. He built a routine and he built his discipline at an early age, and it's carried him to this point. But yeah, it was always a hard worker and a competitor. So it's really cool to see him, what he's turned into now, for sure.
Tony, tell me about your dad, because we've mentioned your dad a few times. What has your dad meant to you over the course of your career?
Probably one of the most influential people in my life, of course. Living at home still, being close to UNF, I see him every day, and we talk about baseball every day. We talk about everything every day. So I'm great to have a set of parents in general, my mom and dad and my sister, of course. Just great to have a family as great as them. So I'm thankful for them, of course.
Tony, obviously it was a tough transition this year with Coach Parrington and now Coach Mercadante now being your coach. You've stuck with this program for the entirety of your career. You're a grad student at UNF. What obviously was a tough situation with Coach Parrington. How did you feel about coming into this year?
I was actually kind of excited, especially when I got the phone call from Coach Merck. I was at the gym working out, and I was glad to talk to him, and I was glad to hear that he was going to be the head coach. And once I found out who the assistant coaches were, and I met them and stuff, and especially Petrosky, and he spewed his knowledge on me, and I was like, wow, this guy's locked in. Even from the first day I met Petrosky. And I'm happy they're my coaches, of course, especially for my fifth year.
Tony, you're winding down your career at UNF as a grad student. What has your career and what's been your time at UNF with baseball been like for you? How would you describe the time as an Osprey?
Oh, I think it's been great. Even going from my freshman year when we got cut short because of COVID, and going into summer ball, playing up in the Northwoods League. Great experience up there. Played there 2 years in a row, and been at UNF my whole career. And UNF's kind of just been my home pretty much, especially since it's 25 minutes away from Ponte Vedra, where I grew up and stuff. And it's been a good home for me, and glad to be an Osprey, of course.
Tony, what's your future? I mean, do you think that baseball will be a future for you after college? What are you thinking about it?
Oh, of course. I mean, I want an opportunity to play further. I just really enjoy, like Coach Merck said, the daily grind of it. It's just always been a part of me pretty much. And, I just want an opportunity to play further and stuff. And I love the daily grind.
How do you see the future of Tony Rocca, beyond UNF? How do you see his future?
I think Tony's certainly a young man who should get an opportunity to play professional baseball. And, when we get to that point, obviously we'll exhaust every avenue we have as a coaching staff members to make sure he gets that opportunity, because he's a guy that's worked for it. He's got the right mentality. He's got the right work ethic. And I certainly hope he has that opportunity to keep playing.
Hats off to Tony Rocca, the all-time leader in strikeouts in the Division I era for the UNF Ospreys. Tony Rocca out of Ponte Vedra, played for Coach Tom Stanton over with the Sharks. Over 440 career strikeouts at UNF. Last check I had for Coach Petrowski was 446. He had over 400 plus strikeouts in his UNF career, a grad student, 5-year career over with the Ospreys. Wanted to bring you that conversation with Tony Rocca and Coach Joe Mercadante. Unfortunately, the UNF season's over. They did not qualify for the ASUN tournament, but that was quite a year, quite a career for Tony Rocca. Right now, I want to bring you a conversation that I had earlier this week on the podcast of River City Hardball with Dr. Lance Snyder. And if you don't know who he is, he's an orthopedic surgeon at Baptist South for Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. And he was the team doctor of the Kansas City Royals for a long time. In 20-plus years, Dr. Snyder was there with Kansas City. He's worked with the Marlins. He works with the Jumbo Shrimp, the Jacksonville Sharks. He's got a big, big background in baseball. And earlier this week, we had a chance to talk to Dr. Snyder about how you should approach, if you're a high school or a college player, really specifically if you're a high school player, how you should approach the summer months. In the Jacksonville area, the high school baseball season is over. Now, if you play for St. John's Country Day or Trinity Christian, you're playing in the Final Four this week in Fort Myers, and we wish those guys the best. But specifically for these high school baseball players, in your expert medical opinion, what should be the approach to these summer months?
So this is an outstanding question, I think. In the short time we've gotten to know each other, I'm pretty amazed with your baseball knowledge or even your knowledge about health.
In the Jacksonville area, the high school baseball season is over. Now, if you play for St. John's Country Day or Trinity Christian, you're playing in the Final Four this week in Fort Myers, and we wish those guys the best. But specifically for these high school baseball players, in your expert medical opinion, what should be the approach to these summer months?
So this is an outstanding question, I think. In the short time we've gotten to know each other, I'm pretty amazed with your baseball knowledge or even your knowledge about health. So guys are coming off their season and they've, had a lot of work. They're tired. So now's the time, if they don't watch it, they could injure themselves. So I would say, one, I would take at least 1 or 2 weeks off before we get into the summer stuff. And number two, I would try to work on deficits that I had, whether if I'm not flexible enough, I'd try to work on gaining more length, if you will, or trying to become more flexible. If I have noticed trouble with my throwing motion, I would try to work on some of the mechanics and try to get with a pitching coach and say, okay, are we going to develop a new pitch? Are we going to work on something? And not really try to go full bore right away, and not trying to, get with a new team and overpower, the opposing team right away. Because again, they've had a long season. They've worked through a lot of things, and to go right into something just kind of set yourself almost up for a major league type position where you're going to get into trouble.
We're visiting with Dr. Lance Snyder from Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. He's an orthopedic surgeon at Baptist South, and Dr. Snyder has an extensive baseball background, being the team doctor of the Kansas City Royals for 20-plus seasons. Doc, a lot of these guys will go immediately into summer travel ball. How would you approach that?
I'd be really careful. I'd get with your team, and I would really evaluate which team is best for you. What is best going forward? Are they a team with, if you're a lefty, do they have very few lefties? Do they play a high volume schedule in the summer? Are they a cold weather team, warm weather team? So I'd evaluate what is best for me as a player with my team and try to figure out, the people around me, what do we want to get out of this summer? And then, I'd try to work that way. I would definitely not try to be on multiple teams. I would definitely not try to be, on a team with, not a lot of variability and not a lot of arms. So, I think I'd try to analyze it from that perspective.
Doc, tell the good people of Jacksonville where they can find you and how they can take advantage of your care.
Well, I am with JOI. I'm located at Baptist South. That's where my clinic is. We certainly can treat anyone in the city, and we have physical therapy locations all over. Our sports centers downtown. But we've really done I think a really, really good job of cultivating some expertise in the baseball area. Several of our physical therapists and trainers work specifically with baseball. We've got some great alliances with some strength coach who work just with baseball. And then we've got some really phenomenal throwing coaches in the area that we work with that are obviously just for baseball. So I think we've got a good team, and we'd love to treat your kids. And again, our goal is not to get them on the table. Our goal is to keep them off the table and keep them on the field.
Great stuff from Dr. Lance Snyder, Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. He's just a wealth of knowledge and experience, and I would take his advice. He's done a ton of work here in the Jacksonville area on baseball and softball players. He's an orthopedic surgeon. He knows what he's talking about, so good stuff from Dr. Lance Snyder. Before we leave you guys today, I wanted to leave you with this. DBAT Jacksonville is the primary title sponsor here for River City Hardball. I wanted to bring you about a 90-second clip from Sal Catalano, who works with Optimized Physical Therapy, Sports Performance, and the DBAT guys over there. They're housed in the same area, 3030 Powers Avenue. And Sal is in charge of what they call a hitting assessment over at DBAT, and it's really cool. And Sal is going to explain right now what that hitting assessment is and what it does and how you can take advantage of that over at DBAT.
So this week, one of the things we've been highlighting, and one of the things I wanted to talk about today is we've been creating this Excel hitting assessment, which is basically an in-depth hitting assessment that we're able to analyze the biomechanics within the swing. And we're using many different forms of data to collect, data. Basically being K-Vest, for the biomechanics sequencing of the body, and then the blast sensor, which goes on the end of the bat, and that's for bat speed, and other metrics that go into the blast app. If you're familiar with Blast Motion, it's an awesome device. There's many different things that it measures, but mostly bat speed and attack angle we look at on those. And then also we use Rapsodo to collect the ball flight metrics, that's your exit velocity, your launch angle, your projected distance, estimated distance. So using these devices allow us to read the numbers and use those numbers to help scale them to, say a high school baseball player comes in and they're lower on bat speed. Hey, we know it, and we might know why because of how their body is sequencing. If they're lacking in hip rotation, if they're lacking in torso rotation, these devices are going to help us with that. So if you're looking for more of a higher level hitting approach, and you didn't know that DBAT offers that, we definitely do.
Sal Catalano, he's the head of athletic performance at Optimized Physical Therapy, Sports Performance. Also, they work with DBAT Jacksonville, 3030 Powers Avenue here in Jacksonville, over near Wolfson High School and the Bowles School, really close to those areas. And it's really cool stuff. I mean, they really have the state-of-the-art advanced technology that can really help your baseball or softball player advance in their careers and try to make it to that next level. And before we go, I do want to let you guys know that there's a free sports performance workshop this Thursday, 5/23, May 23rd, 6 p.m. over at DBAT Jacks, 3030 Powers Avenue. And they will talk about the hitting assessment for that Sal was just talking about, the XL hitting assessment. Really cool stuff that you can take advantage of right here in the Jacksonville area. Again, that's Thursday at 5/23, 6 p.m. over here in Jacksonville. That's going to wrap things up today. I do want to give away those tickets for the Jumbo Shrimp. Our winner, my 9-year-old son Cameron's birthday is next week. He's never been to a Jumbo Shrimp game. He plays travel baseball out of Fleming Island, and I would love to give him those tickets as a birthday gift. Congratulations to the 699. You are the winner of those Jumbo Shrimp tickets. I want to thank all the guests we had today. Tom Lucas, George Gilson from St. John's Country Day, Aiden Arnett, Aaron Watson, and John Murphy from Trinity Christian. All the best to the Jacksonville area this week in the Final Four in Fort Myers. Thanks to our producer, all of our staff here. Thank you for listening to River City Hardball presented by DBAT Jacksonville. Have a great Sunday, everybody.
She's very comfortable talking sports and hanging out with the boys.
Mia O'Brien here, still providing the best